What's going on, Train 2.0? Hey, this video is mostly about testing this guy, which I just got. That looked a little daunting, but curious to know thoughts. I got some complaints. RE audio quality. May I tell you what I was using before? That part of my, they were expensive headphones, so sorry. So mostly it's about testing this, and then also seeing if I could get some clickbait with my titles as usual to get you guys thinking. I wrote an article about everything popular is wrong. Don't bend your knees, essentially, is what I said. People always think, let me show you some math here. Just 1 second. Stay with me here. I'm gonna show you math. Okay. This is something no one gets. This is something no one understands. Well, drone coaches, they don't get it. Okay. People who kind of have these absolute extremes, they don't get it. This is called math. Okay. So just a second here. Let's say knee bend performance. Okay. Here it is. This is called a line. How's my audio, by the way? I'm going to I can't see the chat, so maybe I'm messed up here. Maybe I'm going to refresh my page. Everything should still be good. But I can't see the chat, so it's my fault. Okay, this is math here. This is a line, okay? Now, a line... Am I Asian? I'm half Asian, and my last name is Yi. So, what do you think? Okay, so this is math, okay? Now, most of you guys think math is something else, like multiplication tables and blah, blah, blah. So, what a lot of people say or think is that all curves are lines, okay? Meaning that if I am here and I have small amounts of knee bend, I'm saying, oh, performance is going to be high, okay? And then this is hard to do. I got to figure out a better setup for this. And then if you have more knee bend, your performance will be low. That's what people think I'm saying, right? But not all curves are lines. Let me explain math to you, okay? Just 1 second. Am I Asian? Yes. You're Asian too. One of my parents is Asian. Yes, that's why we're talking about math today, because I am part Chinese, but my math might be off because I'm also part white. Is that racist? I don't know. Okay, here is another more realistic graph for you. Performance, knee bend. Okay, so you guys ready? So here's a more realistic graph. Just a sec. This applies to most things in your life, but most of you guys, not most of you guys are smart, but the drones are not smart. They think in terms of this, right? So if you're here and you're listening to this podcast or live broadcast, and you're like actually taking what I'm saying literally, what you're thinking is that the less knee bend, this is hard to do. The less knee bend, the higher your performance, right? It's an absolute. That's what people think. Okay. Now, is that true? No, because this is what most people or this is what actually is the case. So let's say you're at the square. That means you have not much knee bend and your performance sucks. Okay? Now, let's say you're at the circle and you have too much knee bend. Your performance also sucks. Look at that. Okay? Now, what if you're at the X and you've found the middle ground? Your performance is optimal. It's optimized. Okay? How good is my writing? I'm half Chinese and I try to write Chinese. Anyway, so we've got this math equation here where people often get upset because I'm at the square and I tell people, I tell people who are at the circle to straighten their knees, right? So now they got to go this way to get to an optimal performance. Or now what most people think, what most coaches are saying is that players are here with not enough knee bend and they need to go this way. So the reason that I make outlandish claims about stick length, about knee bend, about arm swing, about a lot of things is to get your clicks so that you guys are watching. No, I'm just kidding. That's the first reason. The second reason is that most people are here. They think that, or most people think that more is better. So they're thinking along, just a sec, they're thinking along this line, that all curves are lines. It's not the case. They don't understand math, which is this. So I had a lovely discussion yesterday about, what did I put in my coffee this morning? I just had some coffee. But I also am just bringing more energy to the YouTube because I don't want to be boring. So expect this level of energy now. And how is the audio, guys? Check out this new setup for you guys. I'm pretty stoked on it. I feel like I'm a pro now. But what was I saying? I was saying something RE math and graphs. Okay, so the fellow that we had on yesterday, he had the idea that, not yesterday, yeah, maybe it was yesterday, we could replace the word knee bend with stick length. And in his world, what the hell? Okay, and in his world, the shorter the stick, the better the performance, right? Is this realistic? No, because if we go to the full shortness of the stick, then we get this happening, right? So we replace the word knee bend with stick length, and we end up here where performance sucks. You're playing with a mini stick, okay? What he's saying is that the curve is a little bit more like this. It's shifted this way. So that's what he thinks. Maybe he's right. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know the difference. But this is the argument. And this is the argument that not a lot of people in hockey understand. Is not all curves are lines. Not all curves are like this. Okay, there is an optimal. There is an optimal. So math now. For all the Asians out there, sorry, your favorite part has come to an end. I'm half Asian, so this is the half part of it. That's that. Any questions today? What did I put in my coffee this morning? I always have bulletproof coffee. Ask your questions quick, because I got to go. So drone coaches, they think all curves are lines. Doesn't Connor McDavid use a taller stick? I don't know. I'm not sure. It's irrelevant to me. It's a great question, but it's irrelevant. I love his mechanics. He's got the best friggin' mechanics out there. Okay? My give a shit level for sticks is low. Okay? Yours should be too. Datsuk uses a long stick, I think. McDavid uses a long stick. Gretzky uses a short stick. Ovechkin uses a short stick. I don't know. Who's right? I don't know. Not me. probably. Okay, but probably no one else either. People just use length of sticks that they want. Their mechanics are the reason they're the friggin' best. A lot of people don't agree with me on that. That's fine. You don't have to. And in fact, I'd love for someone to just prove me wrong, test out different length sticks, and then do whatever. Why do I say straighten your legs? Is because your knee bends. I had the most beautiful knee bend you've ever seen. The most beautiful knee bend. You could write a textbook on the knee bend that I had. Okay? And guess what? And you know why? And we're going back to the Asian thing. But here's the deal. My knee bend was so phenomenal because, and you'll notice this with Asians actually, short femur length, I think that's the science. If you have a shorter femur length, it's going to be easier to get down into a deep knee bend. If you have a long femur length, it's actually much more challenging to get into a deep knee bend. So all these poor tall guys who coaches are saying, hey, bend your knees, squat lower. I feel so bad for them because their legs are not set up that way. Okay, their legs are not set up to have a deep knee bend. Okay, now, like I said, being half Asian, and notice a lot of other half Asians or a lot of people with short femurs are going to have no trouble getting into a deep knee bend. Crosby comes to mind, right? Taylor Hall comes to mind. They have short femurs, okay? So this allows them to get into a deep knee bend. It's easier for them to do that. But people mix up correlation and causation. That should be the second mathematical thing that we talk about, maybe tomorrow, where they're not necessarily fast because they have a deep knee bend. They are often moving in such a way that gives them a deep knee bend. This is a confusing topic that I'll get into maybe tomorrow. But my whole point is that, going back to what I was saying, was that when I was playing, there was a period of time when I had such a deep knee bend, such a great knee bend, that I lacked agility. Yeah, that's right. The guy who spent countless hours on the agility ladder and was really agile lacked agility on the ice because my knee bend was too deep. It was too low. And actually, one of my good friends, he's an engineer, so he's kind of smart. And he played with me at UBC, and he said to me, hey, stop bending your knees so much. I was like, oh. And I'm the kinesiologist, so I'm supposed to do the smart one. But as you guys know about the whole stick thing, I'm out to lunch. So he said to me, straighten your knees. And I said, okay. And I found that because I wasn't so loaded and tense all the time, I didn't have such a deep knee bend, I could actually change direction a little more quickly. Now, what's the solution to this? It's something called the hip hinge. And I talk about this in my article called Everything Popular is Wrong, Knee Bend and Skating Speed. And if you look at speed skaters, they have less knee bend. Okay, they have something called the hip hinge, which is flexing at your hips, not at your knees. And I talk about this. This is the first thing I teach to anyone off ice is how to hip hinge for power. Because everyone can squat, no problem. Everyone can bend their knees, no problem. But it's the hip hinge that holds people back. So, questions. I got a couple more minutes here. Questions. And I want to hear about the audio quality. Tell me about the audio quality. Is this better audio quality than usual? Please tell me. People watching. Hit me. Let's go. Tell me it sucks and I need to go back. Or, alternatively, tell me I'm insane. Use backward logic and word thinking to try and disprove my arguments. Or use actual logic and change my mind. That would be cool too. Questions. Lots of you watching right now. Giving you 30 seconds for some questions. Dan, I know you're watching. AKA Silky Mittens. "20 seconds. Oh, also, last week I talked about NHL 17 going. Maybe my maybe my chat's disabled. I don't know. NHL 17, the exact settings on how to improve hockey sense are in the membership area coming this week. So they're not in there, but they'll be there tomorrow. The exact settings to use, the 3 brain muscles that you could be training, the 3 brain muscles that you should be training to improve your hockey sense. Okay, so you can either do a whole bunch of meaningless BS stuff on NHL 17 that is fun but not going to improve your hockey sense, or you can use the exact settings, the exact game modes to improve your hockey sense. Those are your choices. You can do your own research, or you can check out the answers in the Train 2.0 membership area. You can start for free, 7 days for free. Great question. Does the hip hinge cause strain on the back at all? Not if done properly. And in fact, it's going to be much healthier for your spine than anything else. So the hip hinge, when done correctly, is not going to cause any strain on your back at all if you're doing it correctly, which I've said 4 times. Where's the femur? Your femur is this, your upper part of your leg, between your knee and your hip. That's your femur. Great question, Dan. Great question. Hip hinge, yes. Hip hinge is not going to cause strain. Hip hinge is going to lead to explosive speed, which is why I called my course Explosive Skating Speed. So, great question. Thank you guys for watching. On top of the tibia? Yeah, I suppose. Between the knee joint and the hip joint. Quality. Feedback, please. Come on, let's go. Nothing. I'll get it after. Guys, thanks for watching. I got to run here. Got to go coach some kids.